What's up, guys? D-Rock 1992 here. So I recently decided that I am going to be doing a director marathon of Quentin Tarentino's movies. I'm going to be going through in order from when he. I'm going to be going through in order. And I'm going to be watching all of Quentin Tarantino's films. So I'll be doing a Quentin Tarantino movie marathon, and I'll be putting it up on a playlist I just created called Quentin Tarantino Movies. And yeah, I'm definitely going to watch a lot of... I've had the idea in my head for a while of taking certain directors and watching all of their movies. So... for this video, I'm going to start my Quentin Tarantino movie marathon by talking about his first ever movie. And I watched the movie just yesterday, his debut. And what a debut it was, Reservoir Dogs. It came out in 1992, and the story... So this is the feature-length debut, directorial debut for Quentin Tarantino. He also has a small role in the movie as well. And so this movie talks about events. It depicts events before and after a botched diamond heist. There's these men who rob a diamond, who plan to rob a diamond store. It fails. And this movie goes back and forth before the actual diamond heist goes on and after it goes on. You really get the feeling of that before the diamond heist, everybody's confident, everybody's willing to, everybody's saying this diamond heist is going to be a success. We have this in the bag. After, though, you really get the feeling that, oh shit, there is going to be a lot of hell coming down on us. That's for sure. So, the Tarantino there uses what's called non-linear storytelling. It's basically going back and forth, not following a story. With a lot of movies, you have a lot of the story just progresses through, and it doesn't take any shortcuts at all or anything like that. This movie does not. This movie takes shortcuts. This movie goes through and then pulls back and goes. This movie goes through with the plot, pulls back. It goes right to the beginning. There's sort of more or less flashbacks, there are more or less flashbacks in this movie to before. The movie starts... Well, there's flashbacks within flashbacks, I suppose. But yeah, it really is non-linear storytelling. It's definitely... it definitely has that effect. Has that effect for sure. So the stars of the movie. Harvey Keitel, a veteran actor, has been around in the business for a long time. He plays Mr. White. Now, a lot of these guys have code names. Harvey Keitel plays Mr. White. Tim Roth plays Mr. Orange. Steve Buscemi plays Mr. Pink. Michael Madsen plays Mr. Blonde. Quentin Tarantino plays Mr. Brown, and more. So, also some additions. Lawrence Tierney plays Joe Cabot, and Chris Penn, brother of Sean Penn, plays nice guy Eddie Cabot, the son of Joe Cabot. So, Joe Cabot is the leader of the entire operation. He organizes the entire diamond heist. he hires everybody. Keitel, Roth, Mr. White, Mr. Orange, Mr. Pink, Mr. Blonde, Mr. Brown, and then there's Mr. Blue as well, played by a guy named Edward Bunker. So he organizes the entire heist and gets everything down, and then they discover afterwards that there's a rat. Somebody ratted them out. And so that's why the diamond heist went bad, basically. So all the while they're trying to figure out who the rat is in their group. And I'm not going to spoil it for anybody. You'll have to watch the movie if you haven't watched it. For those of you who have watched it, you'll know obviously what I'm talking about. So anyway, with casting, I thought Harvey Keitel did a pretty good job as Mr. White. He did a good job. Tim Roth did a good job as Mr. Orange. Buscemi did a good job as Mr. Pink. Buscemi's been in a lot of movies anyway. Good character actor. Michael Madsen does a good job as Mr. Blonde. Really, all the people I mentioned gave good performances. There is no bad performance in this group of actors that I just mentioned. So there you go. There's really no bad performances at all. And it really helps the movie go along. For this movie, you see a lot of the trademarks of Quentin Tarantino. A lot of movies for Tarantino are violent. A lot of movies of Quentin Tarantino's have a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of dialogue going on. If you're not a big fan of dialogue, then Tarantino's movies aren't for you. But the best part of the sorry about that, my phone is going off. But anyway. My phone's going off there. Okay, that's it. Hopefully, yeah, that's it. So anyway, no bad performances in this movie. Very good. Everybody gives their all in this film. Tarantino's trademarks. Non-linear storytelling, like I said. The story doesn't follow through. It goes backwards, then forwards, then backwards. Also, a lot of violence in his films. There is a lot of blood and a lot of gore in this film, for sure. A lot of blood, for one thing. So if you're not a fan of violence, that kind of violence, then Tarantino's films aren't for you. And then, like I mentioned, the dialogue between the characters. Those are pretty much the three big things that Quentin Tarantino is very good at, and he's mastered over the years. Now, the movie itself does not mention the actual diamond heist. It doesn't talk about, it doesn't feature the diamond heist at all. A lot of times it'd be like, why didn't you mention the big thing, that drives this movie? Why didn't you, mention that? It could have been a more powerful movie. Well, with Tarantino, he does such a good job with the storytelling, giving both sides of the coin, we're very confident of this diamond heist, and oh shit, this diamond heist went really wrong. We have a rat. This is going to be a bad situation for us. He captures both those personas. He captures both of those feelings so well that we don't even need the diamond heist. We don't even need to see the diamond heist to see that, this is a very good movie. You don't even need the diamond heist. This Reservoir Dogs, without that actual diamond heist being shown, is a very good movie on its own. I mean, I love Reservoir Dogs. I've watched it once before. I've watched it a couple times now, and it's really good. It's really crazy. It's really there's a lot of 70s tunes with the soundtrack. This is where the song "Stuck in the Middle with You" got really popular. I mean, it really this song got enhanced popularity. I would think it did with the use of it in the movie. You know, so yeah, I mean, this movie's a big success. Excuse me. Tarantino does a very good job. I mean, Tarantino does a masterful job directing with this film, and he's gotten a lot of accolades for Reservoir Dogs. This movie has a 92% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, so that tells you that the critics love Tarantino. Tarantino does not have a rotten review yet on Rotten Tomatoes. That is pretty rare for a director. You know, even Spielberg's had a bad review. Has had bad movies. But it looks like Tarantino just hasn't had a bad film. I'll be talking more about the later films later, giving you my opinions about them. But, yeah, this movie's very good. I give it a full 5 out of 5 stars. It is engaging. It's engaging. It's dramatic. It's everything that a Tarantino movie is. And Tarantino laid down the blueprint for what his future movies are going to be like. The non-linear storytelling, the gore and the violence, the dialogue. That's all in later Tarantino movies. And he's brought that formula to the later movies, and he's had a lot of success. And then including this movie, 5 out of 5 stars for me. I love this movie from start to finish. It is absolutely one I would definitely recommend. I would recommend you start with this movie if you want to get into Quentin Tarantino films. I would recommend you start with this movie, also being that it's Tarantino's first film. I'd recommend you go into this movie for sure. So, I love the movie. The next Quentin Tarantino movie that I'm going to be reviewing is Pulp Fiction, his second effort, which came out in 1994, a couple of years after Reservoir Dogs. So, that is it for this review on Reservoir Dogs. D-Rock 1992, out.